The NBA returns tonight with 2 games to open up the season. Rockets, the defending champion Thunder, followed by Warriors at Lakers. 2025 marks the 80th season of the association, where OKC is the preseason favorite to go back-to-back. Back-to-back segments with 2 analysts on desk on a Tuesday. That just means the NFL is here, of course, and the NBA is back. Ashley, Nicole Moss, and Brad Botkin are here to talk about it. Now, you guys have been on other shows. I was going to say, are we happy to be back?
I'm happy to be back. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever.
Well, I saw Ashley.
We've been chilling. You've been very busy, by the way, doing, going on this world tour, which we're very happy about, of course. But in terms of the season, you've been on other shows. You guys have previewed tonight's 2 games. So specifically, we're already going to go all the way to the end. We're already going to go to see what you think are the teams to beat. And bracket by bracket, Ashley, Nicole Moss, followed by reaction from Brad Botkin. How accurate?
I got the West right.
Okay.
And I predicted the champion right and the MVP correct. So let's hope I can do it again this year.
Yeah, there was still obviously some Knicks bias. We'll see if that plays out this year.
The Knicks should have won that series, but whatever. New season. Let's go.
New season. We'll see how far they get. So we're going to do conference by conference first. And I do think we have the Western Conference up first.
Okay.
Ashley, Nicole Moss. So take us through the Western Conference here.
So I have the Nuggets coming on top in the West this season. I think that obviously Nikola Jokic, best basketball player in the world. I think Cam Johnson is going to be a huge asset for them. They finally were able to dump Michael Porter Jr. He's in Brooklyn now. I think bringing Bruce Brown back is going to be phenomenal for them when it comes to that bench, that second unit. The Nuggets really just needed some pieces to help Jokic out. We've been really asking for help. The Thunder, no surprise there. I just think that the Nuggets will be slightly above them, maybe a little bit championship fatigue, but still going to be the second seed in the West. If they were first, wouldn't be surprised. The Rockets, I have them coming in at 3. The Clippers, I believe, were 5th last season. I think they're going to be in that 4th, 5th spot again. I actually really like how the Clippers look. Health permitted, obviously health permitted for all these teams, but I think the Clippers are a lot better than people think. I think the Wolves will be a little bit of the same. I'm not expecting a huge jump, but I'm not expecting a drastic fall. The Lakers, I always give the Lakers some level of benefit of the doubt, if you will. LeBron, Luka, obviously LeBron's out for a few weeks with his sciatica. Luka is looking slim and trim, okay? He lost some LBs. He's looking for revenge. The Warriors, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, a full season with Jimmy Butler, but I just don't think that this is a championship team. I don't think this is a deep playoff team. Sorry, Brad. I just think the West is too young and too strong. If this was the East, different conversation. And the Mavs are closing it out at 8. I think the Mavs will be able to stay afloat until if Kyrie comes back. I think on paper, health permitted again, this is a very good basketball team. As we advance, though, I think it's going to be the Nuggets and the Clippers. I think the Nuggets are going to advance to the Western Conference Finals. Looking at the matchup below, I think the Rockets and Thunder would be so much fun to watch. I'm still giving the edge to the reigning champs, and I think it's going to come down to the Nuggets and the Thunder, but give me the Nuggets edging out the reigning champs in this one. I just think that when you have Nikola Jokic and you have some help for him, anything is possible.
Okay, so I totally agree that the Nuggets should be one of the teams that we should be talking about as one of the top shelf favorites, okay? I like what Ashley said about they fortified their bench. The non-Jokic minutes have always been such a problem for Denver. They've never really had a proper backup center, to say nothing of their other positional situations. To get Jonas Valanciunas and convince him to stay, and he's your guy that can come in and spell Nikola Jokic during the regular season, keep him fresh. The Nuggets are very, very good. I agree. I don't think OKC is going to win again. Whether they come out of the West or not, I don't know. But I'm just going on history here. We haven't had a repeat champion in the last 7 years. Any team that's won in the last 7 years has not gone on to win at any point in the next 7 years. So we're not just talking about back-to-back is hard. We're talking about winning twice in a 7-year period is hard. It just, injuries happen. We saw with the Celtics last year. They were probably the best team on paper. So I don't think it's going to work out for OKC, not because I don't think they're the best team. I do. Where I disagree mostly.
Real quick, before you say that, I do want to add also the reason I had them dropping one spot is because I do think we're going to see a different type of play from OKC, and we need to, right? I think
managing, making
I think
sure
that you're going to see SGA get more in his playmaker bag because if you look at some of the stints that they had last season, especially in the postseason, the offense can get a little stagnant. And SGA, you know he can give you 30 a night if you give him the ball, but that ISO ball is where things get a little bit sticky and tricky. And I think he's going to take a leap as a playmaker. And because of that, I think you're going to see the points spread across that starting unit a lot differently than it was just so SGA-centric. And I think that's going to cause a little bit more L's in the column as they get adjusted to that new style of play. That was my rationale behind it.
They could, yeah. I think the Rockets are going to be a little bit higher. Ashley had them at 3. I think the Rockets are going to flirt with the number 1 seed here.
Oh, what?
I think the Rockets are very, very, very good. But where I disagree mostly with her West is
the Warriors.
And this is not a. You're going to say it's a bias, but
I knew it.
The Warriors would have been in the conference finals last year if Curry hadn't got hurt. That's just, they were better than the Timberwolves. Okay, Jimmy Butler and Stephen Curry, 22-5 down the stretch of the season when they were in the lineup together. Jimmy Butler is not a guy who can be a number 1 anymore on a championship contender. We saw that when Curry went out, he was exposed. But as a number 2, a guy who's more comfortable facilitating, letting Steph move off the ball, his IQ, his ability to anticipate, all the things that Golden State does offensively, their randomized movement, all the anticipation and passing skills that requires, he has in spades. I think it's a perfect fit, and the Al Horford pickup is not being talked about enough. His ability to facilitate at the top of the offense as an offensive hub. They have always had lineup decisions to make in Golden State. They've never had a shooting center, so they've always had to go small. Draymond can't shoot. It can be Kevon Looney. All these guys that they've had throughout the years, Andrew Bogut, they've never been shooting centers, so it's tough to have Draymond and a non-shooting center on the court at the same time for spacing reasons. Now you have Al Horford without compromising defense to stretch the floor. It's really going to open up the offense for them. I think the Warriors are very, very good.
So how high would you have them? Above the Clippers? Above the Rockets?
I have the Warriors going to the finals.
Right, but seeding-wise, like if we saw Ashley have them at 7, would you have?
Seeding is very tough. They're going to be in the playoffs.
Okay.
You know, I think they're going to be around that. I think I have them at 4.
I really struggle with the Warriors' age.
Right.
They're old.
Steph Curry's
no team in history has ever started 4 players over 35 years old, and the Warriors are going to do that.
The Warriors are older. I'm also concerned about Jimmy Butler. As we know, Jimmy Butler in the regular season is not the most reliable when it comes to the amount of games that he can play, whether it's due to small injuries, big injuries. I just have a hard time putting all my eggs in the basket of a team that is that old when the West is that young.
Well, what they're going to do is what Ashley said about OKC. Okay. They're going to manage the regular season to get to a 16-game run.
Great news is we'll look back and see who was right and who was wrong. Yeah, Let's go through the East bracket now, Ashley.
All right. Well, look, guys, no surprises here.
Dun, dun.
The Knicks are the number 1 seed this year, baby. Yes, so I have the Knicks. Look, let me start off by saying the East is going to be wide open this season. It's going to look drastically different. Obviously, the very unfortunate injuries to Jason Tatum and Tyrese Halliburton's going to change the landscape of the Eastern Conference. I think this is the Knicks' best chance to absolutely run through the East and head to not only the Eastern Conference Finals, but the NBA Finals, as you can see here. So I have the Knicks at 1. I have the Cavs at 2. I think the Magic are going to take a huge leap. Again, health permitted. I like how they added Desmond Bane for 3-point shooting. I like their size. It's a big team. The Pistons, again, they're a team that plays big. They play gritty. They gave my Knicks a hell of a series. I think they're going to continue to develop as a team. The Hawks are going to be interesting, right? I have the Hawks in the playoffs this year again because the East is going to look different, but I believe this is the best team Trae Young has ever had. And if Trae Young can't get it done, get something done, make something shake with this team, Trae Young is the problem. The Celtics, here's where things get interesting. I don't think the Celtics are going to be as good as they were last year, obviously without Jason Tatum, but I don't think they're going to be abysmal either. I do think they'll be able, again, in the Eastern Conference that is so broken, I think they'll be able to stay steady in that last playoff spot, even possibly creep into the play-in depending on how things shape up. And then we're having a conversation around February, March about Jason Tatum. So watch out for the Boston Celtics. The only concern, they are a lot smaller than we're accustomed to seeing. So the Milwaukee Bucks, you have Giannis, but that's about it. I don't know what's going on there. And the Pacers, look, I know they lost Miles Turner. I know no Tyrese Halliburton, but I like the way the Indiana Pacers play. They play fast. They have a lot of skill. They're defensively intelligent. I have a lot of respect for Rick Carlisle. I don't think they're going to go the distance, but I definitely don't think it's going to be a wash for them where they can't possibly creep into that play-in and make some noise. Give me a rematch of the Knicks and the Pistons. The Knicks once again coming out on top. And here's where we got to put a star here, all right?
Like an asterisk to make
For
sure there's a caveat.
because
What's
I
that?
do think Celtics and Cavs, however, I don't think the Celtics advance against the Orlando Magic if Jason Tatum does not return.
Okay.
They're going to need that size. They're going to need that additional scoring in order to get past the Orlando Magic. But if Jason Tatum decides to suit up, we're looking at a Celtics-Cavs matchup, but I do think that the Cavs may take the slight edge there, and the Knicks are taking them down to go to the NBA Finals to face the Denver Nuggets.
So that Celtics pick over the Magic is assuming Jason Tatum.
There's like
If he's
in
back.
parentheses,
If
it goes
not-
Celtics,
if-
parentheses,
yes.
Tatum.
Right. If
basically.
not, I do think the Magic can edge out the Boston Celtics in a matchup.
Worst offense in the league basically last year, 28th, worst three-point shooting team. How
Yeah.
big of a difference does Desmond Bain make? Obviously, you think a lot.
In an Eastern Conference that's fragile, I
Yeah.
do think. But
Yeah, I
again,
agree.
that health, that size, their defense that's not something you can
I
just
agree.
kind of brush off.
I'm
They're-
much more in agreement with Ashley's Eastern Conference. I too have the Knicks going to the finals.
Welcome to the bandwagon, Brad.
You know, the Knicks were very good last year. Jalen Brunson is as prime time a postseason performer as you can have, but too much on his shoulders. Too much game slowing down, predictable offense at the end of games. I like that Mike Brown wants to get everything moving. They're going to shoot more threes. Didn't shoot a ton of threes under Tom Thibodeau. I don't think Karl-Anthony Towns shot enough threes last year. I think he was somewhere over 4 a game. This guy is not just one of the best shooters for big men. He's one of the best shooters in the game. I'd like to see him up around 6.5 threes a game. I think Mike Brown will put that into effect. The Cavaliers are hearing the noise. The Cavaliers were a team last year that were right there with OKC, 66
Regular
wins.
season.
When was but everybody got hurt.
Okay.
So Darius Garland just came out and said they would have won it all. Of course, everyone says this, but if they were healthy, but they have every right to believe this. When was the last time you saw a 66 win team be this untalked about? Nobody's talking about the Cavs. They're hearing that. They're very good. I just think the Knicks, with what they did a lot like what Denver did. They fortified their bench. Okay, Yabusele and Clarkson, okay, and they're going to get things moving. The starting lineup is in place. Terrific lineup. I like the versatility they have, Mike Brown, now to be able to play, say, Yabusele at the 4 and some of those Josh Hart lineups where the shooting really hurts you. But to me, the thing that puts the Knicks over the top is Mitchell Robinson. Getting him back in the fold in a 16-game run in the playoffs where possessions win games and series. His offensive rebounding is bigger than adding a shooter or a ball handler. These win you possessions and in turn win you games. That's why I like the Knicks. I think we get a Knicks-Warriors finals.
We have to wrap things up, but actually in a minute or less, who wins the NBA Finals when it's all said and done?
As much as it pains me, I do think that if it comes down to the Denver Nuggets and the New York Knicks, which is what my prediction is, I do think when you have the best basketball player in the world, you have a better chance, and I would give that edge to the Denver Nuggets.
Warriors are winning it. Curry's going to have 5, and we're going to have a real conversation.
You see how I was like, I gave a logical explanation,
really
We're
did.
going to
right?
have
I
a
didn't
real
go with my heart.
conversation about
Head,
Curry
heart.
and LeBron. LeBron will always have the longevity, but we're going to have a real conversation when Curry gets his 5th this year.
But I reverse jinxed it. I said Nuggets, but in my heart, you know what I mean?
You want it
Knicks.
to flip so you
if
could
it
have it done?
happens,
Okay.
that's what I did.
Be able to timestamp,
Yeah.
put it in a capsule, bring it out like they did in school, put it away and bring it back once the playoffs begin. Great to have you guys back.
Yay!
Ashley, Brad, first
Thanks,
of
Tommy.
many that we'll have here, of course, in a new NBA season. Just a reminder, folks, double check where the games are. They're everywhere in the association. But right there, the opening slate. Thunder laying the 7. Warriors road favorites tonight in SoCal.